everybody, welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Night. This week we're talking about Planet of the Vampires, which is a film from 1965 that has no vampires. Brian picked this one, but before Brian explains why he picked this one, I want to do a fun little game. So Brian, you write no notes, right? That's like your whole thing.
Yeah, my shtick.
I wrote 5. Scott, how many did you write?
10 or 15.
All right, so we're looking at about 20 notes to get through a full episode. So if it's a short one, that's why. Brian, why are we having such a short discussion about this movie?
Because, man, I wanted to see vampires in space, but
Well, I got bad news for you.
the vampires never came. The vampires never came.
I will say, there are positives about this movie.
There is not.
Just not for what we just... No, I would say... For a movie made in 1965, I will compliment that I like the theme music. I like the synthy theme music. And I think that for what is clearly a very, very low budget movie, the sets look great. So this is the equivalency of when you see your friends play and it's trash and you're like, I really like the set dressing.
We should give that guy a job as a director.
And let me explain. When I say the sets... I'm not talking about the spaceship control room that looks like it's straight out of Star Trek. I'm talking about like when they're walking around that planet. It looks pretty good.
The planet of the vampires.
Yeah, supposedly one of the actors, when recording his English dub, quote unquote, was crying at the beauty of what was captured on film.
No, I don't think so, Bava. Sorry.
Yeah. He was in the studio for 36 hours waiting to get it right, and he was just having a mental breakdown, and they were like, is that guy okay? He's like, yeah, he's just crying at the beauty of the film. Move along.
The things that I like the most about this have everything to do with the perfectly coiffed women's hair.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited to finally see X-Men First Class being discussed on this show. Their fucking outfits look just like the X-Men First Class outfits.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, this movie doesn't have tension. It doesn't have kills. I mean, it has 15, but you don't see them.
Well, it almost becomes comical because it's like they'll just be walking around and then all of a sudden it's like jump cut to them burying another body on the planet.
I thought that I was missing something, because I was like, wait, when did they put them in body bags?
Yeah. Watching this movie, I kept it on at normal speed because there was no subtitle option for me.
Wait, so Matt, where did you watch it?
I have a DVD of it that I got in the mail. I used to get free DVDs from this company called Cheesy Films, which had never done anything for me except for the first movie they sent me was The Uninvited, and it was downhill from there. So eventually, like they stopped sending me review copies, and I was fine with it. Like I was like, I'm okay with this. I don't need these clogging up my DVD collection. But
so is that how Brian knows about it? Because I've never even.
No, I rented it from Blockbuster.
Video store. Yeah, I was gonna say he rented it from Blockbuster at one point. They just sent it to me, and I watched it the one time and then promptly forgot about it. The information that I have written down that I gained from watching it in 86 minutes, I could have gathered from just looking at pictures of the movie while reading the wiki page, because that's about as much information as this. I think the wiki page is more cohesive than the actual movie is.
I can tell you it is because I had to utilize it to understand what was happening at one point.
I was like, what is this movie? And I made a note about this because at the very end of the movie, so they're on this planet, the aliens...
Oh, I guess we should explain what's happening in the movie.
Brian, do you want to explain what's happening? You're the one that picked this.
Yeah, so they're going to, check out this planet, see if there's any life forms on it. You know how space movies go. And then they just get pulled in, they get sucked in, and they start fighting each other, which, believe it or not, is like the third or fourth episode of the first season of Star Trek. Is the exact same premise as the beginning of this, where it's just mind control, and then they're fighting themselves. They're like, what's all this about? So then they do a little zoop doop scoobity doops. Let's look around, and then they come back and 2 people are dead because they fought to the death. And when you fight to the death, nobody wins. So there's 2 dead bodies, and they're like, oh brother. So they're trying to figure out what happens, and then they notice like, our minds get taken control of when we sleep. Weird. Let's put a guard on each other, but that doesn't work.
But still sleep.
But still sleep, and And they never watched Nightmare on Elm Street because it was 30 years before it came out. So, one thing led to another, and then they're talking to one of the zombies, and it's like, hey, we're a vampire, and, we need your body to get out of this place, or something like that. And they were like, but these are our bodies. And they're like, we don't care, we want them. And then, that's the movie.
They find another ship.
And a comically giant skeleton.
Yes.
Oh, man. He had a giant head, a fairly big rib cage, not as giant as the kneecaps that went along with it, though.
So they find that guy. They find that ship, and the funniest part about that is that they get stuck in it, and the guy has to like grab this shocking flashlight, which it doesn't even sound like the smartest. The explanation that I believe they had was, due to the size of their body, they could hold the flashlight and it would light the way or something. I don't even know. But they get out after he like fake fights the electricity, and they get back to the other ship. More people die and come back, but kind of barely. It makes no sense. And then they are leaving that planet. Only 3 of them made it back, and the captain and the one woman with the beautifully coiffed hair who lived, I think she was a brunette, or a redhead. She was a redhead. They're acting funny, and you know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
They are possessed now, and so the one guy, Wesley, I think his name was, they're like, become one with us, and he's like, never. And so he destroys the meteor rejector, which would have kept them safe in interstellar travel. So they have to go to the nearest planet, which is Earth, and they go, it's a
spicy
primitive
meatball.
It's a primitive planet. And the woman goes, will they accept us? And he goes, I hope so, for their sake. But the best thing is that they took what could have been a really good ending. Like, they could have made this ending so much better, because they like, let's use our super telescope, and they look down and it's like New York City from above. What they should have done is say it was a primitive planet, and they could survive in the atmosphere. So what it would have been was them being gods and controlling humans, or demons and controlling humans, disembodied people, disembodied, spirits in the atmosphere controlling human evolution. So if they were like, oh, it's a young planet, it could have been before there was even space travel, and it would have been such a better ending.
Yeah, I feel like so this movie has 2 things that it could fall in the category of with this ending, and both would have been a better film in my mind. Is either you go all in and you do like the William Castle thing, where you're like, Earth, look at that. There seems to be a very nice movie theater we could land next to. And then, like, as the credits close, like the people dressed as the aliens come walking into the theater and everyone screams. But more so, like, this movie is literally just like a perfectly fine Twilight Zone episode that should be 22 minutes stretched out to 86 minutes long. Like that.
But I've seen so many better versions of this on the Twilight Zone. Like, that's
what
one
I
of
mean,
my favorite ones.
It's 100% like that. It is doing that Twilight Zone thing where you think that you're following Earthlings throughout the movie, and then the big reveal is like, ooh, they weren't Earthlings, but they're coming to Earth now, like, because they've done that bait and switch. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I was thinking of is the episode of Twilight Zone I was thinking of was the one where the spaceship lands, and it's like a completely normal type Earth, and they're discussing whatever with this guy's like a butler or something, and they won't let them leave, and then they put him in cages. That's the one that I was thinking of.
That's a good one.
I love that episode of Twilight Zone.
There's also like The Invaders was one where like this little woman or this giant woman being terrorized by these little aliens, and then like the big reveal is that the little aliens are astronauts from Earth that landed on some alien planet where it's giant versions of humans. Like, Like they just always do these weird bait and switches where it's like, oh, you thought you were following someone that's from this planet, but you were wrong. Zinger. And that's I one of the first scripts I ever wrote. I remember that I wrote a bit about how Rob Sterling ends all of his things with the exact same reveal that it was Earth the whole time. And I'm like, and then he went and wrote Planet of the Apes. And what's the ending of Planet of the Apes? Like,
I didn't know that he wrote Planet of the Apes.
yeah, he's the writer of Planet of the Apes.
Did you? So Henry Zabrowski on last podcast on the left wrote a skit that Scott would hate, but Matt might find funny. That was a parody of The Twilight Zone, where this guy just wanted to watch porn. That's all he wanted to do. He was like a porn addict, and then he ends up in a bomb shelter, and the world ends, and he comes out, and then his hands fall off, and he's like, "But there was time now. There was time."
Why do you think I wouldn't like that? That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. What Scott lacks in humor and fart jokes, he loves in humor of jerking it off.
I mean, wouldn't you?
So do we have anything else to say about Planet of the Vampires? I'm sure there's some Gallo truists listening that are just going to leave some nasty ass reviews about us. But fuck them.
Listen, I know this is my fault, but this is our problem, and we're at 12 minutes, so we gotta figure something out immediately.
We can go into deeper dives with other stuff.
Yeah.
Brian,
but
what was your double?
Wait, no, Matt, wait. You are missing one great line. The one great line in this is, "I want 3 pounds of plutonium."
I don't know. I also liked the line, which again, Scott, put this on your notebook if you ever decide to cover the Planet of the Vampires theme song for Concert Crash. To use the audio clip, "Another tomb for this cursed planet."
Dude, that's amazing. I'm gonna. Do you remember what the timestamp was so that I don't have to go look for it?
About 45. It was here. I'll make it easy for you. Just look for where they're burying somebody.
But that's not easier.
No, I think it was about 45 minutes into the movie. Because it's my fourth of the 5 notes, so it had to be after they landed on the planet.
Dude, yes. I was literally making dinner last night thinking about how I need to take it back to the MySpace Metal days and do an EP where it's like each song is 50% music, 50% an absurd amount of sound clips.
You know what I would buy? Remember when NoFX did? I think it was like the longest EP or something like that. It was like something like 70 tracks, but they were all like super short.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you should do an EP where it's literally every track is just like 30 to 40 seconds, and all it is the audio clip leading into the breakdown, and that's the entire song.
So it's like the opposite of grindcore, where they have the sound clip and then it's as fast and stupid as possible, but for me it would be the sound clip into just the breakdown. Yeah,
like literally every song just starts off with like and then the audio clip before like the like whatever the breakdown part is.
I love the fact that you think that a breakdown is fast.
Whatever. Or dun, 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 dun. But like,
thank you. Much better.
You have to have the build up to it too. Like that moment where you're like,
breakdowns don't mean anything without context.
Yeah, so it's got to be like literally just like 30 to 60 second snapshots where you don't know the context of any of the other song. Just this is where the breakdown's about to happen, and here's the movie clip for it.
Oh my God! Don't tempt me. I got nothing but time.
All right, so now that we got our favorite quotes out and we're at that sweet 15-minute mark, so Brian, what's your double feature going to be with this bad boy?
I would double feature this with My Favorite Martian, starring Christopher Lloyd.
I literally just watched that movie a few weeks ago on Disney Plus, and it is terrible.
I never actually saw it, I don't think.
It's pretty bad. Wayne Knight is the voice of a suit. So, Scott, do you have a double feature for this?
Of course I got a double feature. To try and salvage the night, I'm doing horror in space with an actually good movie, Event Horizon.
Ooh, very good one. So, my in comes with a fun fact. I'm going to watch this with the movie Alien. And the reason is because this movie is attributed as one of the inspirations for the movie Alien, alongside It, The Terror from Beyond Space, and Dark Star. Now, Ridley Scott has never seen this movie before, but the screenplay writer Dan O'Bannon said that he was aware of Planet of Vampires. He didn't think he had ever seen it all the way through, but he had seen enough clips from it that it stuck with him as evocative. It had this curious mixture that you get with Italian films, but with spectacularly good production design on an aggressive low-budget mentality. And that's what drove him to hire the special effects person that they did, because he was like, oh, he did the special effects for Planet of the Vampires, let's bring him in for Alien.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so that's my fun fact. And also, Alien's just such a better movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
In every way, shape, or form. So what have y'all been watching this week? Brian, what do you got going on over there?
So it's probably going to be taken down by the time this episode comes out, or it may not be. I think it's part of the South by Southwest thing that they're doing on Amazon Prime right now. But I've been watching the docuseries Cursed Films, and it is...
I'm sure Cursed Films is going to end up on Shudder eventually.
What's on Shudder is just there's an hour-long thing on Shudder, which is episodes 2 and 3. But there's 5 episodes. I have 2 left. I'm watching The Crow right now, but the first 3 were Poltergeist, The Omen, and The Exorcist. Not in that order. I can't remember which order, but it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of people that died attached to these movies.
Have you watched... I haven't watched any of them yet, but have you watched the Twilight Zone, the movie one yet?
That's the last one.
Okay,
so that's the last one to see.
I've heard that there's a lot of controversy in that one because they actually show the footage of Vic Morrow dying.
Oh, now I'm very excited to see. And my old 12-year-old fucking faces a death mind, but I probably won't like it.
I've seen the death.
You've seen the death
actual
footage,
yeah. And I think that it's worse because you know the context. I mean, I mean, from what I remember, it was pretty blurry, but just knowing, and there's so much dread watching it, like knowing what was going to happen. So that's just me. But I don't think that it's healthy.
Oh,
I don't think it's healthy to watch that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know. They can do whatever they want, and viewers can do whatever they want, I guess, if the families have the ability to have a say about it. You know, if the estates are lined up and everybody's on board with it, I mean, I think it's in bad taste. But I'm not going to watch the Cursed Films series myself personally.
God, so what did you watch this week?
Megan and I have been enjoying the ever-loving shit out of What We Do in the Shadows season 2. It's on Hulu. It's very odd for us to have between that and Zoe, we have our weekly ritual shows again, and it's very odd because we haven't had that for I don't even know, like 6 months or something. Because most everything comes out and you just binge it and you're done. But it is quite. Mandalorian was the last thing that we watched, so it's only been 5 months. But I do kind of enjoy having it's Sunday night, we're gonna watch Zoe. Oh, it's Thursday night, we're gonna watch What We Do in the Shadows. And also, What We Do in the Shadows is just so incredibly funny. I want to do an acoustic cover EP of just acoustic songs from horror. So obviously the song from What We Do in the Shadows. Probably want to do that song that's in Autopsy of Jane Doe, which almost made it onto Horrors 4, but then I just didn't really have the time to learn ukulele well enough to play it. It's such a great show, and I can't believe that you haven't watched season 1 yet. I don't know why you're sleeping on it, but you need to get on it. It's so funny. I wasn't a big fan of the movie. I've said it more than once. And I don't even want to show the movie to Megan because she loves the show so much. I feel like she'd be so let down.
I don't know, though, because I saw an Instagram story of her laughing her ass off at the brilliance that is Best in Show, and a camera panning over to a stone-faced Scott Roger on the other side of the couch.
That is bullshit, dude. I was not stone-faced. I was probably playing Candy Crush or something like that. Or messaging you and your brother. Dude,
Either way, I saw that and I messaged her immediately and was like, "Yo, that documentary, that mock rules. Go see Mighty Wind as well because it's also great."
I'm pretty sure she's seen Mighty Wind.
She said she never has. She's
Oh,
like, "I've never
really?
seen that one." I'm like, "Oh, you would love it because it's also a musical."
Yeah, and it's another Christopher Guest one, but like,
Yeah.
she was howling. It's like she was screeching, laughing at Best in Show. Like, I don't think I've ever heard. I don't think that we've watched Best in Show together in a decade, and I don't think that she laughed that hard last time.
So I've been watching. Obviously, this is going to come out in July. I would like to be optimistic that by July we're not in the exact same state that we are at the time that we're recording this. But the time that we're recording this, it is early stages of lockdown. Really not leaving the house very much at all. Very scary. Very little information. A lot of bad. So what has been bringing me joy during this entire time is I've just been watching The Great British Bake Off.
Oh,
constantly.
wait, is this your first time watching the show?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a banger, man.
It is so wholesome. It's so positive. It just makes me smile. Everyone's so kind. There's no drama. I'm just like, this is just what I need. And they're not fighting for money. They're not fighting for anything but a nice dish to display a cake on.
Yes, but they also, everybody that has won gets like a book deal or something, and that's fine. Like, it's a huge show, but
it's earned by, like, it's way more earned than a lot of the other reality shows that come through America, I would say.
Absolutely. No, I love that show, and I'm not trying to tear it down at all. I'm just saying, like, I that's the reason why I accepted us watching it, because I hate reality TV and I hate competition shows because of that cutthroat feeling of them and the stress and like the manufactured drama. And Megan was like, let's just watch it, it's cute, and they help each other out. And so I did. We started watching it. And
there's really no manufactured drama in it. Like, that's the thing. It's just very much like they are people who love baking, and like it's just for the name of showing what they can do. And like, I think the thing that I love on that show that I've never seen in any other reality show, and I've watched every single season of Drag Race at this point, but like, it feels like constantly when someone is told that they are the person who's leaving the show, there's always a talking head from another one of the contestants that's just like, it should have been me. I don't understand why they made like no one's like, everyone is so hard on themselves that like no one's there like, well, yeah, obviously I'm Star Baker. I kick ass at this. They're all just like, no, I could get let go. My technical wasn't where it should have been. Like, they're very humble about everything, and it's such a relaxing thing. I was devastated when Mel and Sue were no longer the hosts.
I don't know. So we started later on, and the second set of hosts, I can't remember their names, but like
Sandy and Noel.
Yeah. I like them equally. Like, I like the two pairs equally.
I like them now. So I started in the beginning and worked my way up.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that the thing that Mel and Sue do so much better than Sandy and Noel still is I just love their ready, set, bake. Like, it's so like up over the top where they're just like ready, set, bake. Like, just very, it's the high pitched bake that used to make me so happy every episode. So not having that is, it hurts a bit, but yeah. I've got one season left to go. I started last week and I got through 6 of the 7 seasons on Netflix.
Damn, dude, that's like you pushing.
It's like meditation while I'm working, honestly. Like, I'm just sitting at my desk, I'm doing work when I can, and then there's just this pleasant sound of British people being kind to each other, and every once in a while I'll look to my left and see a lovely cake, and then I just go back to my work. It makes the day nice.
A lot less stressful. Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, there's a cake. But that was Planet of the Vampires, the movie so bad that Brian ran away in fear in the middle of the recording. It had nothing to do with his Wi-Fi dropping. And we will be back next week with what will, from what I can tell, be our last aquatic horror film of the year.
Just get ready for some fucking explosions.
It's going to be a treat. So we'll be back. And that is
Dude, I don't know if you should keep that in. That is such a good fucking joke, but it gives it away. No,
only because we know. Only because we know.
That's amazing treat. Oh my god, dude.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.